in the saga of what has the S10 done for me today? Well, I just added coolant to the radiator and also to my overflow. The last few times that I've driven it, especially a short distance, and then restart it, I get some lovely white smoke. Usually I don't have the opportunity to get out to see what the smoke is, and it's if I drive it probably a mile or a little bit longer, turn it off, and then have a short duration in between starts, and I start it back up, and that's when the white smoke comes. Give it a little bit of gas, white smoke goes away. Mind you, it's not a little bit of white smoke. It looks like I'm trying to fog the area white smoke, but like I said, you give it a little bit of gas, completely goes away. I was looking up around the engine here, trying to figure out where it could be coming from. And of course, that usually tells you it's coming from the heads or the intake. One of the two is having an issue. I don't see where it's leaking. So, of course, it's leaking internally, so it's not an external leak. So I don't know if that's a little concerning, because if it's at least an external leak, you could see what's going on. Internally, you have to start ripping into things to figure out where it's at. Which you would think that if it was something really bad, you would see it every time you turn it off, because it would have heated up enough that the coolant would be getting past the gasket and into the cylinders. Or if it's a crack in the head or in the intake or wherever, you would think that once it heats up, it would spread. You would get coolant running toward your combustion areas, and you would have it every time you turn it off and every time you turn it on. Like I said, this is intermittent. So I have a feeling I'll be tearing into this. I'm thinking if I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to get new heads, or refurbed heads, instead of putting these heads back on, because I don't know if these heads are flat or not. I mean, I can lay them out and figure out if they're flat. I do have a feeler that I could take over it, and it would tell me, you know, if I know that I'm in the same plane, I could take it over and see what the variations are in it, or I can just do that. So I don't know. So that's probably gonna be my next project. So Ohio weather has absolutely been horrific the last month. Either it's been super windy, super hot, or just raining all the time. So I haven't really been able to do any new content. Because what I want to do is I'm going to pull this seal, because I have a new seal to replace it. You can see here where it's pulling up, and you can, on the other side, I don't think you can see it. Yeah, you can see where it's pulling out and breaking and that. So I have a new seal for that. But when I pull the seal, I am going to, let's zoom right here. So when I pull this seal, I'm going to tape everything off, and I'm going to prime the pillars and the top here, sand it down a little bit and get rid of some of the rust. And then once I put a couple coats on, I am going to put the new seal in. So I shouldn't have to do anything with the windshield. It should just be pull out and put in. Then once I have that done, and the UPS guy goes by making all sorts of racket, because, you know, there wasn't any traffic when I was out here earlier. Anyway, so what I'm going to do after I prime this, I'm going to install the moon visor. Haven't decided if I'm going to just throw down a layer of paint on top of the primer. I'm thinking about it, just so it's there, and then I'll install that and then run the wires down so we can have the lights. And then after I do that, then I can put in my soundproofing onto the roof, so in that way it keeps down some of the noise. And then I can install my headliner back into it. So all these projects kind of depend on one another, and with the weather being just a pile of garbage of late, I kind of haven't gotten to that. And that's why there hasn't been any videos. So I guess this is going to be my next video. Maybe I'll just post this one, and then once I start tearing into it, create videos of that. Really haven't done anything else with it. I did buy new speakers for it, so that's another thing I want to do. Yeah, I have the Bose speakers that I got out of a Cadillac out of the junkyard. Hey, I mean, it sounds pretty good. I did buy some more speakers, so I want to redo the box in the back, possibly redo the box in the front. I want to get a different head unit and get the permanent head unit in there, so that way I can tidy that all back up. I do have another amp that I may be putting into it instead of my Rockford. And then I also want to get a capacitor, so then that way I'm not pulling as much power from this battery and eating my alternator. The other thing I thought about doing is putting in a 2-battery system into this for said stereo, and just so then that way I have an auxiliary battery. And went over here, you know, there's enough room here that I could put another battery tray like that right here, and then I can have the 2 batteries. I can run them in parallel or in series. So that may be another video I'm going to do. But right now, I just need to figure out this whole white smoke garbage that's going on. That's intermittent. I mean, I've gone... I smelled was able to stop and smell the exhaust when the other day when it was doing that, and it does smell like coolant. But once that goes away, I've smelled the exhaust and I don't really smell coolant coming out in that. I guess the other thing is, if I'm going to do the heads on this, I might as well pull this whole front clip and put my other front clip on it, since, you know, it'd be probably a little bit easier to get to the heads in the manifold if I have to do that. Take those off. So, yeah, fun times ahead. More coolant, more oil to get for it when I'm doing this. Maybe I'll do something different with the valve covers and the air cleaner and maybe the intake. Yeah, we'll see. It's kind of disheartening, especially with fuel prices as they are. I can't afford to drive my diesel every day. I tried that last week, and it cost me over $100 in fuel for 4 days. So I don't want to do that every week. I mean, it's bad enough that this thing's $75 to fill up, but anyway. So yeah, that's where I am with the S10. It's like a never-ending battle, but I think once you get all of this stuff done, there really isn't much left to replace. So if I'm pulling the heads and manifolds, might as well put new manifolds on it, and then might as well replace the O2 sensors and any other sensor that I can't get to because of stuff being on here, or it's been on here since original. So, lots of things to come. Yeah. And then, yeah, see what else I decide to do while I'm at it. So, update video. This is where I'm at with this thing, and hopefully I can figure out all this. Until next time, keep on shifting. Was that lame? Keep on trucking? No, that's even more lame. Anyway, okay. So this is what the exhaust looks like on initial startup. As you can see, no white smoke. It doesn't smell like coolant, because usually you can smell it on your hand if you stick it down there. Don't smell no coolant, no nothing. But I'm losing it somewhere, and like I said, it's only on short distances where you'll see the coolant, or a white plume of smoke coming out of the thing. So I'll keep my extra coolant handy, keep it topped off.